it is Dr. Askkrystalracquel. I am back again with a second video for today. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. You can also send me an email to askkrystalracquel@gmail.com, as well as visit my website, herrosegarden.com, if you'd like to book a session with me. I have a specific topic today, as you've seen the title, but just as an update, I just wanted to let you know I am super excited. My doctor has given me the go ahead to start my exercise up at the end of this week. So I'm super excited. Postpartum visits went amazing, so I can get back into gear and start to feel like my old self again. For any gentlemen that are watching, yes, you know, we do take some time to recuperate and get ourselves back in line before we can start exercising again and being active once we have a baby. So the topic that you see, since the reason why I mentioned men, because I know men are on this video because I said no coffee dates. So let me go ahead and explain a little bit. So specifically, I'll mainly address women, but I may link it back to men. Ladies, you are amazing. You bring so much to a household and a marriage, as do men, of course. But let's focus on women. I'm a woman, and I'm a married woman, for anyone who doesn't know me. Really, there's so much that we bring into a relationship and a marriage. So we'll focus on marriage, since it's about dating, and I'm assuming those who are dating would like to get married one day. So what you need to understand is you're worth so much. I really encourage you to stop watching a lot of like the red pill content. It's not going to help you, for both men and women. It's really not going to help you. It's just going to pollute your mind. It's going to start to give you unrealistic expectations and an unrealistic understanding of what it really means to be dating, at least biblically. For me, when I decided that I was going to do what I had to do to be able to get married and attract what I wanted for my life, I looked in the Bible for what it was that I wanted. There were people around me, and there are oftentimes people around you that will tell you, that will try to convince you that pretty much a man and a woman, they should be doing pretty much the same things, that people say like 50-50. I went to the Bible for what it was that I wanted. I've always felt what I wanted in a relationship, in a marriage. I envisioned pretty much biblical roles for man and wife, and the woman is more the caretaker. In Proverbs 31, woman, she was working, she was, efficient, she took care of her kids, she rose super early. And a good husband in the Bible is a provider, protector, those sorts of things. So I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted a biblical marriage in terms of how things are set up. And you have to know what you want as well for your life. So don't let people convince you. Yes, women nowadays are working. However, you must recognize that men and women are completely different. Not gonna say real man, because I guess all men are real men. But a man, it really makes him feel good to be able to pursue a woman, regardless of what society is trying to tell you nowadays. As a woman, a lot of times we like to be nice to people. We're thinking, oh, I don't want him to spend anything on me for dinner. He doesn't know me. Okay, the point of dating, if you've already established you and this gentleman are both seeking marriage, he's pursuing you, or he's asked you to give him your time, which is what dating is. Don't let anyone convince you that it's just the two of you. It's both of you. You guys are both equally wanting the same thing, which is, since you want a husband, he wants a wife, so it's equal. No, it is not. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not equal, because a man's life really a lot of times depends on the woman that he has by his side. Because a woman can make a man's life so much easier. And I'm not talking about people who decide to do things 50-50. He does 50-50 of the chores. You do 50-50 of the chores. In general, when it comes to the indoors of the home, the decorating, the cooking, since a lot of us cook well compared to the men in our lives. Some men cook well as well, but in terms of doing those things, in terms of being cleanly and washing up the dishes afterwards, in terms of doing laundry, just doing certain things and having a certain level of cleanliness, a lot of that falls on the woman. And a lot of times it's because we either are better at it or we would like things to be done quickly, like in terms of cleaning. We, you know, even if we're not better at cleaning or cooking, we have like a schedule in our mind of how things need to be done. Okay, we need to clean this, get this done, wash all this before bed, that type of thing. So some of that falls on us a lot of times. And ladies, you want to, like I said, it's not equal. It's not. You want to be able to feel okay. Let's say something happens and you end up pregnant. I said something happens, but you know what I mean. You end up pregnant. You want to be able to spend some time and stay with your child before heading back to work. You need to find someone that's going to allow you to do that, because they're going to know that that is their role to do. I spoke with someone, I won't reveal who, just because that will reveal who the other person was. Someone recently told me that they had to go back soon after to work. That was because their income was needed. Their income was mandatory for the household to function. As a lady, you don't want to feel like that. You want to feel like the man that you end up with is going to have you. So this brings me back to coffee dating. And mind you, that baby, obviously a man cannot give life in that way. He cannot have a baby in terms of giving birth. And no, we're not saying that's his fault, but that just shows you how different and unique we are. So yeah, that back to the coffee date situation. So you're doing all this. A lot of times, just even looking at history, the man wants to be able to have his legacy. He wants to have a bloodline. He wants to have a good woman who will, help take care of the children. If you know anything about child development, the child really, really needs the mom the most up to like 3-5 years old. After like 5, that's when the dad's role really plays a serious role. So the woman, just as a caretaker, your role is so important, especially in those foundational years for your child. And the man knows that, so he's out there. He wants a good woman that's going to allow him to focus on what he needs to do in terms of work. And by you agreeing to marry him, you're making his life so much easier. Oftentimes, as the Bible says, a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. Nowhere in the Bible does it say a woman who finds a man finds a good thing. If a man finds a wife, that is a great thing. His life usually elevates. He starts to feel like he has something even more to strive for. You might find a man that before marrying, he was doing okay in work. Once he marries, his business, his career booms. My point is to say, ladies, and men, don't come in here saying a woman who finds a man finds a good thing, because that's not in the Bible. I'm talking about the Bible. But yes, of course, we know men bring wonderful things to the table, as they should. So a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. So my thing is to the ladies, understand you are a good thing. Is a good thing easy to get? Is a good thing hard to find? will a good thing accept coffee for someone who is who's for someone who needs to understand the potential that a good woman can bring to his life? And this is not to bash men who are doing this. This is for women to recognize your worth. And I say all this to say, when I'm out and about by myself prior to marriage, I would go out and I buy what I want for myself. If I want to get lunch, I'll go get myself lunch, just to, if I'm hungry, whatever it is, I will go out and I'll buy it for myself. And then when it comes to meals, I'll be honest, I don't do it frequently, but I have family members, particularly my mom and one of my sisters. They a lot of times give food. They'll buy food for people who are homeless, who are either asking for money or food. They'll get them something to eat, and that's a meal. They will not skimp on them. They'll get them exactly what they want, a full meal. So my thing is, if we can buy ourselves a meal, if we can buy ourselves what we would like to eat and drink, if we can buy a full meal out of the kindness of our heart for people we don't know, for strangers in need, why would you accept someone giving you coffee? Most of the time, the men are giving you coffee because our world has become a microwave society. So then now the men, they want to be able to go out with as many people as possible, rather than going through and really trying to select people with good criteria and taking the time to get to know a few. They want to eliminate their the use of funds where they feel is unnecessary. That's not your problem. A lot of ladies are now saying, well, I just don't want him to spend anything on me. Like, it's right. We don't know each other. We don't know anyone. It's perfect. I don't want him to, or now people are saying this, oh yeah, I'm just going to split everything with him because I don't want him to get any ideas. Okay. First of all, I'll talk about that in a second too, but back to the coffee. Some people don't even drink coffee. If I go into a coffee shop, I'm buying myself a meal or I'm buying myself something. So you might as well just take that person to a restaurant and get them a meal. And I'm not saying anything needs to be extravagant. Also, a lot of the times, the reason why coffee dates are wanted is because perhaps the men are choosing women that I don't want to say don't qualify for, but I don't want to say out of their league because I don't want to focus so much on appearance, but a lot of times men are trying to pick women who have a certain look. They might have a certain physique, instead of focusing on just, okay, this person's nice, this person seems to be in shape, this person looks good. They're trying to get the 100 out of 10 ladies. So because of that, if a lady's 100 out of a 10, mind you, I don't like to really rate people like that. That's why I went so high up, because I don't really do that. But basically saying that she's off the scales, and then the men are getting upset because it's not working out well. The woman is requesting a certain thing from them. The woman wants like them to send money. So now they're like, they're disenchanted by the dating world. Now they want to give women coffee. A lot of times the men are not choosing ladies based on like their profiles, based on, okay, this is a nice looking lady, I like her profile, let me get to know her, she seems genuine, let me give her a call, that type of thing. It's like, yeah, I want the baddie, I want the one who's 100 out of 10. It's like, sir, a lot of times, and then the men is nothing near that category. He's not model status. But this is not to bash anybody. My whole point is about the coffee. So no, ladies, there's no reason for you to accept a coffee date with anyone ever. You are able to purchase your own self these sorts of things. You're able to purchase yourself a meal. But I'm not saying no, you don't have to require a man to take you on a $500 meal, unless maybe you're really wealthy and you do that for yourself as a norm, perhaps. But other than that, just expect a man to take you on reasonable dates. And no, I don't mean the 2 for $5, 2 for $10 at Chili's. A man should be able to take you to a reasonable price date. And yeah, it's The reason why I don't think it is a big deal for a man to do that is because we so often do that for ourselves and it's no issue. So if we can have the respect to, out of the kindness of our heart, pay for an individual's meal who is in need on the street, a man who is saying that he potentially wants to court you should 100% be able to do that. Many of us, when we go out with our friends or family members, we'll pay for the other person's food. I've done that many times, and that's not even a thought in my mind. It's like, oh, we're enjoying our time together. I got this one. So just really be careful with that. And the coffee, absolutely not. That is not worth your time. The whole point of a man asking you out on a date is because he wants to say, hey, here, I'm doing this for you as an appreciation for you taking the time, those 2 hours out of your day, and you spending time with me for me to get the chance to know you and us to get to know each other. And then don't say anything about 50-50 because basically a coffee is nothing. A coffee is not worth your time to go meet someone. You've dolled yourself up. Us as ladies, we potentially purchase a new outfit, new shoes. We potentially just got a fresh set of nails. A coffee is not going to help with that. Okay, you are doing what you have to do. You're preparing yourself as Queen Esther did prior to her going to see the king. She freshened herself up. She put the best perfumes on. She beautified herself. The beautification, I think, took a year. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, or I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. And she presented herself before the king, and the king gave her wishes, everything that she wanted. So I'm not saying a man needs to give you everything, but the least gentlemen can do is pay for your meal. And there are reasonably priced meals. There are reasonable restaurants. A lot of women just like to, I mentioned this before, how there was one individual who took me to unique places. The places weren't expensive at all, but they were unique. It wasn't like it was something that had no thought into it, I'm just gonna take you to McDonald's. He thought about it, and it was unique places. A lot of ladies aren't so concerned about how much the man is spending. They're concerned about his thought, and they're concerned about the food. If the food is good, he can even take you out to brunch. Brunch is typically a little bit cheaper, and you can get a great meal. You can go for a little walk afterwards. Not saying go on a walk as a date ever. Just saying, if you're ever on a place that has a lot of different places, maybe you can grab a bite to eat, and then take a little walk around and see some serious scenery, walk and talk, get some ice cream as well. Mind you, he's fed you and he's taking you to a respectable restaurant. I'm just saying, if you so happen to do a brunch date or a lunch date. But yeah, back to the whole thing with 50-50 and eating, and women saying, well, I don't want him to think I owe him anything. So maybe you don't want to let him take you to, if you don't feel comfortable with that, maybe don't go to restaurants that you feel like are super, super expensive. Maybe you wouldn't want to accept a restaurant that is going to potentially be $500 or more, just because you may think in your head, but use your wisdom with that. It's up to you. Or basically, I would say you shouldn't really be giving all this information to the person before you've met them anyway, for them to even be able to do anything to you. One, you're not going to their place. One, you should be meeting in a public space. They shouldn't be able to find you, your address. Some people don't like to give their real number. That's okay. If you don't feel comfortable after you've spoken to the person online, but maybe you met the person in person and they do have your real number, but that's why I don't also recommend having too many conversations. Maybe 2 conversations before you actually meet in person, tops. I mentioned that before as well, just because you don't want to invest too much time before that person before you spent time with them in person and going on a date. So absolutely not. No 50-50 splitting for dates ever. You should at least have 2 conversations with them, or 1 conversation with them, a substantial conversation, maybe 20 minutes or more, because if you don't do that, if you don't talk to them and you just meet the person after them saying, hey, let's go meet here, they may get upset at you, not like you, may not feel that respect for you because you haven't had a conversation. Then you may just up and leave if they don't like what they see. And I also mentioned before, in terms of online dating, that ladies, please, no filters. Don't ever put any filters. Make sure you are presenting yourself as you are. Putting yourself with a filters make you look more attractive. Doing that and then going in person, you're not the same, and you know it. That's why you're putting the filtered pictures online. present yourself as you will on the date. That means no filter. You can wear makeup in your pictures and wear makeup in person. Don't do any pictures that make you look significantly smaller. Don't use old pictures. You should be about the same weight that you are now, so the picture should be within the past month. But yeah, no filters. But basically, yes, ladies, no coffee dates. It is so not, I will say it's not something you want to do for yourself. People will say also, well, it's just a quick in and out. That doesn't make sense, because if you go on a regular date, you can make it be an hour. If you don't like the person, you can end it there. There's no reason for you to pay 50-50. Anybody feeling obligated to pay 50-50 because they don't plan on going on a date with that gentleman again? Absolutely not. Know your worth as a woman. The man there's nothing wrong with it. The man is offering to take you out. He wants to get to know you and pay for your meal. And of course, you're gonna pick reasonable things on a menu. If you want to buy one drink, that's okay. Like a regular drink, I always get water. I'm a water person. And then if you want to potentially buy a glass of wine, depending on if it's dinner, that's okay. If you normally do that for yourself, then you will buy an entree. If you normally buy appetizers when you go out, that's okay to maybe ask, hey, you want to split an appetizer? Or he should probably offer. But either way, if that's what you normally do, if you normally have appetizers, that's okay for you to ask him if he would like to split an appetizer with you. And then, yeah, the normal way that I eat when I go by myself to eat or with family friends, I normally always have water with lemon. If it's evening time, I'll potentially have a glass of wine. I'll have an entree, and I'll have dessert. I'm not really an appetizer person, but if the person wants to split with me, I do. So I was just bringing that up just in case, because I know some people do appetizers. So it's okay as long as you're being reasonable, right? You're not getting 3 glasses of wine. First of all, you shouldn't be drinking like that when you go out with somebody anyway. So honestly, scratch that. I don't even recommend getting wine unless you're someone who is has a lot of blood volume like me. I'm a larger lady. But I wouldn't recommend you drink. But yeah, you could potentially get a non-alcoholic beverage, potentially get follow his lead, right? Potentially get an appetizer, have your entree, and that'll be it. Or he may ask if you want dessert. That's completely fine, and just don't be trying to buy things that you would never buy for yourself. You would want to be reasonable. You don't want to go and try to buy the most expensive thing on the menu. Like, oh, I want that catfish looks good. It's $50 for the meal, when the majority of the menu items are like $20. So you don't really want to do that. You want to look at what the norm is on the menu and go with that. But yeah, pretty much absolutely no coffee dates. You're worth so much more than that. Just to bring it all home, if you don't go and just go around buying yourself coffee, that's like your norm. When you're hungry, right? When you're going to be doing something that requires you to be alert and focused. If you go and get yourself a meal, the individual, if you believe in men being the protector, provider, he should be able to offer that to you. And I do say he should be bringing you flowers as well, because when I was being courted by my husband, he brought me flowers every single date. That is not old school. That is something that shows that the person genuinely cares and is interested in you, and really is trying to win you over. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you still have to monitor the person and really see who they are. No coffee dates, ladies. And tell me what you think about that. Men too, feel free to tell me what you think. If men are saying they don't want to invest in that, then that just tells me that, ladies, that person's not for you. If somebody can't invest in a meal is not super expensive. He can even take you to like I said, brunch places, those type of things. And they could end up potentially getting, I remember one of my brunch dates, I don't know how much everything costed on the brunch date, how much everything cost on a brunch date, but it was, the items weren't expensive. Like the meal that I got, like I might have got like eggs and avocado and a side of fruit, orange juice, and a coffee. That is not expensive. If somebody can't do that with you and take you to even a brunch spot, let's say it's like around 11, 12, and your meal would probably come out to probably like $30. Like if you get like the whatever the meal is, like your eggs, avocados, whatever that entree would be, that's probably like $10. And you get a side of fruit, it's probably like $3. Coffee, maybe like $20, $25 with tax. you know, and he could potentially buy his food within that amount as well. And that's like $50, and you throw on a tip. Yeah, I would say what, that's probably like $40 between the two. Add a couple dollars for tax, if there's tax on cooked food, and then throw in some money for a tip. It's probably going to be about $50. And if men, just be wise with who you're trying to take out. Make sure you have a conversation with them. No, I said no to FaceTime. You can watch my video about that as well. And just really monitor those things, and then you should be able to pick good ladies. You, honestly, ladies, I recommend you find a man that's just focused on you. That's the whole important thing about investing, right? He's investing in one person. It's much easier. It's gonna make it's gonna make your life easier as well. And if you had a conversation with her and stuff, that's going to allow her to continue to see you. If you're just like, oh, in and out, the lady's going to detect that, and she's probably not going to be interested in you. And especially if you're just one of those people who are serial daters, that's going to be very obvious to the young lady. So focus on her. Focus on building a real connection with a lady instead of just, oh, her, no, next, coffee. That's going to help you. It's going to help you really be genuine, be serious about the individual that you're talking to. Yeah, and if it's gotten to the point, ladies and men, where you feel like you're disillusioned by the dating world, and you're like treating people bad, being rude, trying to ghost them, trying to up and leave the table, it's time for you to stop dating and heal. When you start feeling like you're getting savage towards people, it's time to heal. It's time to get over people ghosting you. It's time for you to really take some time and work on yourself. But yes, ladies, no coffee dates. And men, stop offering ladies coffee. You know the lady that you want to end up with, the lady you're going to want to marry, is going to have standards. She's going to expect the best. And ladies, half the time when you have a good father figure in your life, you're not going to even expect those things. So sometimes, ladies, it may be good for you to watch. If you don't have an active father in your life, look at how ladies act who have active fathers. Look at what they expect. Look at how certain things are attracted to them because they know their worth, they know their value. Not saying you don't know any of your value, but sometimes you may not know what you're supposed to expect from a man because there wasn't a man to tell you that. So I'm just gonna leave it there, ladies. I wish you all the best, and no coffee dates. Tell me what you think about this below. Bye.